Chapman News, SoCal on fire. Almost 5,000 acres burning and 100,000 evacuated.
In Northern California, hundreds of thousands of residents are without power as utilities shut down to avoid forest fires.
And former U.S. ambassador to the Ukraine breaks her silence, accusing the president of a campaign against her. All that and more coming up on Chapman News.
From Dodge College of Film and Media Arts, this is Chapman News.
Good afternoon, I'm Olivia Young.
And I'm Jules Rector. We begin today with breaking news. Over 100,000 people are out of their homes today, evacuated early this morning by a raging fire sweeping across northern Los Angeles. Nearly 5,000 acres are burning out of control, closing 5 freeways, according to California Highway Patrol. Schools and businesses are closing all across the county. We have Natalie Rawson in the Weather Center to tell us more. Natalie?
Thanks, Jules. And we are seeing those prime weather conditions for a wildfire. Low humidity plus those Santa Ana winds picking up with gusts up to 50 miles per hour. And the wind is not expected to die down anytime soon, making this fire all the more dangerous. The fire originated in Calamasa and has since spread from Porterridge to Sylmar. Mandatory evacuations have been issued for the Foothill and Glen Oaks area, all of Porter Ranch, and some areas north of the 118 freeway. At least 74 structures have been destroyed, and 1 death has been reported due to the flames. A response team began containing the fire late last night. However, it's currently 0% contained and burning at 800 acres per hour. Again, officials are enforcing those mandatory evacuations and have now set up 4 evacuation centers. It is expected to take a few days to get this fire under control. That's the latest on the Saddle Bridge fire. I'll be back with your 5-day forecast.
The weather is ripe for fires, a deadly combination of dry land and gusty winds. Officials all across California are taking precautions, shutting down power to hundreds of thousands of people, posting red flag warnings as a precaution because of Santa Ana winds. And there are reports of power shutdowns here too. Is it the new normal? Our Kylie Miller has the latest. Kylie?
Thanks, Jules. As you can see behind me, there are more than 500,000 people without power today, as California electricity providers prepare for dangerous weather. Cutting power prevents power lines from starting a fire if they are blown down by strong winds. In fact, the deadliest fire in California history, the Camp Fire, which killed 85 people and destroyed 18,000 buildings and homes, was sparked by a downed power line. Today, portions of Los Angeles, Ventura, and San Bernardino counties are extremely critical fire weather areas. In Northern California, the Sacramento Valley, and areas of the Sierra Nevadas are considered critical as well. You can see if you will be impacted on Edison's website, scemaintenance.com. And all of this fuss isn't for nothing. We are right in the middle of the worst months of fire season in California.
California is still recovering from last year's devastating fire season. With more than 1 million acres burned, 2018 was the deadliest and most destructive in California history. State fire officials now consider fire season to be year-round as a result of climate change and its effects on California weather patterns.
Although 2019 has been calmer so far, firefighters around the state are using this time to prepare for the worst.
One notable change came last July from the Governor's Office of Emergency Services. The governor has directed fire departments across the state to pre-position strike teams.
A strike team for us is a group of 5 fire engines with 4 firefighters on each engine, and then they have a leader, which is a battalion chief.
They position these strike teams in areas with red flag weather warnings.
Well, we look for basically three things: heat, low humidity, and pretty much winds higher than 25 miles an hour.
Though firefighters on these strike teams are not running calls like on-duty firefighters, they act as insurance in case a wildfire were to break out. The majority of wildfires in Southern California are human-caused, but there are many ways that you can help prevent them.
For more information on how you can help prevent wildfires in your area, check out SmokeyBear.com. Thanks, and back to you guys at the desk.
These severe fires are due in part to climate change and rising temperatures, so it makes sense to ask, what are we doing about the environment?
UC Irvine continually gets high marks for its commitment to sustainability. We sent reporter Laura Yugsazian to their campus to see exactly what they're doing and to see how Chapman compares.
2018 was the 5th year in a row that UC Irvine made the Princeton Review's Green College Honor Roll. The university has developed quite the reputation for environmental initiatives. This year, UCI was named number 1 in the US and number 2 overall on the Sierra Club's Cool School list, which rates universities in the US and Canada on a variety of sustainability criteria. Boasting successful eco-friendly practices, groundbreaking research, and energy-reducing initiatives recognized by the U.S. Department of Energy, UC Irvine is truly leading the pack in environmental sustainability. They created the nation's first all-electric bus fleet, giving 2.15 million pollution-free rides annually. They also converted a cooling plant to use recycled water, saving 80 million gallons of drinkable water a year. With Irvine's success in mind, how does Chapman compare? We sat down with Mackenzie Krieger, head of sustainability at Chapman, to find out.
I kind of like to say sustainability is an ever-moving target because no matter what you do, you can keep pushing forward.
When asked why the K and other new buildings do not have solar panels, Krieger explained that they have structural challenges that do not allow it.
Putting solar up on main campus is a challenge, so we really have to spend our money on conservation efforts.
Chapman's Sustainability Department was founded in 2011 to aid with sustainability efforts on campus. Chapman has 6 sustainability initiatives, including water conservation, recycling and waste management, and energy management.
I think when you are providing people an option of a reusable item of any sort, it really forces them to re-examine their patterns of consumption. And if you can show that it's pretty easy to carry a reusable straw, it changes how people view single-use plastic in general.
Some ways you can get involved in making Chapman and the world a more sustainable place include pledging to eat less meat, using reusable water bottles, and volunteering for community cleanups.
It seems like Chapman has a long way to go to catch up with UC Irvine.
Fast food chains all across the nation are now offering meat alternatives for their customers. The switch comes from the increasing number of Americans becoming vegetarian or vegan, some motivated by making an environmental impact with their dietary issues.
Cattle production is responsible for over 14% of global greenhouse gas emissions. With recent popular documentaries exposing the meat industry's role in climate change, many people are drastically changing their consumption habits. But can a burger help solve climate change? A lot of Americans agree. In the last 3 years alone, there's been a 600% increase in people identifying as vegan in the country. With this increase, we see a lot more vegan and vegetarian options offered at popular fast food chains. This month, McDonald's and Subway are testing out brand new Beyond Meat options after pressure from vegan and vegetarian customers. But can the meatless options even compare to the real thing? I decided to check out 2 different fast food chains that already offer meatless burgers and see which one tastes the best: Burger King's Impossible Whopper or Carl's Jr. Beyond Burger.
Burger King was a little bit more expensive. It was about double the price of a regular burger, so I'm hoping that it'll be really, really good. And the Carl's Jr. burger was about $2 more than their regular burger, so we'll see how that one ends up. I say it's pretty good. It's like a regular burger. I think a lot of people wouldn't know that it's Impossible meat. I feel like they would think that it's the actual Burger King Whopper, the classic one. I don't think they'd know. So the next burger I'm gonna try is the Carl's Jr. one, but the Burger King one was really, really good, so we'll see if this one can compare in any way at all. I think this one wins in my book because it's bigger, and in my opinion it tastes better, and even though it doesn't taste 100% exactly like a hamburger, it almost tastes better than a hamburger.
Plant-based meat substitutes are starting to pop up all around the world, making a plant-based diet more accessible to people on a budget and even those on the go.
Starting this semester, Chapman students can also find Impossible meat options here on campus at Qdoba.
Climate protests in Orange are continuing this morning, led by 15-year-old Jonathan Spicer, who spoke to the Orange City Council on Tuesday.
I am here today because I was promised that if I work hard and stay healthy, I will be rewarded when I grow up. Well, the latest scientific reports are telling us that such rapid change in climate as we are experiencing right now will destroy our planet unless we act now.
The Orange City Council has not commented publicly on the issue of climate change. Protesters like Spicer say they'll continue striking until the council takes action. Are you going broke when you fill up your car?
We have a live report with Carissa Davis. Carissa?
Thanks, guys. I'm standing at the Arco gas station right across the street from main campus, where the normally moderate gas prices have skyrocketed. But this isn't just in Orange, this is all across California. Take a look.
This week, California gas prices have reached the highest in the state since 2014. The statewide average is $4.19, almost $1.50 more than the national average. Both Orange County and LA County are paying higher than the statewide norm, peaking at $4.26 a gallon. This is due in part to a number of refinery outages along the West Coast. There are both planned and unplanned refinery maintenances taking place, causing the raise in prices and the shortening of the fuel supply.
It's not looking like anytime soon, but experts do say that gas prices could drop by 50 cents by Thanksgiving. For Chapman News, I'm Carissa Davis. Now back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Carissa. Wow, I can't even believe that gas prices could rise even higher than they already were.
I know. Honestly, I'm going to have to start walking.
I'm going to have to walk off all those Beyond Burgers I've been eating too.
Well, there you go.
October 1st marks the beginning of a new term for the Supreme Court. Jared Brosnan has the latest.
It's the start of a new term for the Supreme Court, and a number of controversial topics are on the docket. On Tuesday, the justices were evenly divided on the federal discrimination laws for LGBTQ people. Protesters gathered outside the Supreme Court while they reviewed the Title VII law. The law states that employers cannot discriminate against employees based on their gender identity or sexual orientation. All eyes are on Justice Neil Gorsuch for the deciding vote. Gorsuch may be a swing vote on this case despite being a part of the conservative majority in the Supreme Court. If the court rules in favor of Title VII, all 50 states will officially join the existing 22 that prohibit job discrimination. For Chapman News, I'm Jared Brosnan.
Today is National Coming Out Day, a time of celebration and reflection for the queer community. We spoke to Britt Cervantes about his own coming out story.
I know that one of the first things that my parents had said to me when I came out was, "What will the church think?"
Coming out to his Christian parents 13 years ago today wasn't easy for Britt Cervantes.
How do you come to terms with that when it comes to your religion, and knowing that there's a very clear and distinct separation between the two, and there's this idea that you can't be gay and also a Christian?
Identifying as a transgender male during his teens, he struggled to love himself and find the respect of others.
And that was difficult because as a young person, you're trying to figure yourself out, and there's all these people having expectations and telling me that I'm confused and I don't know what I'm talking about, and it made it much more difficult because I still didn't know my identity.
Now at 28 years old, Britt is spearheading Orange County's first gender diversity program for UCI Medical Center. His mission? To help trans youth and their families find the support and resources during their transition, something that he never had.
We provide services like puberty suppression, hormone replacement therapy, patient and family counseling, and I think that one of the most important pieces that we do is advocacy for our patients in the form of education.
National Coming Out Day may come once a year, but for Britt, living life on his own terms is an everyday celebration.
I am still here, I'm still trans, and I'm still queer.
Reporting for Chapman News, this is Rudy Juarez Pinedo.
For more information on Britt's work for the trans community, look up UCI's Pediatric Gender Diversity Program on their website.
Coming up, a former U.S. president on campus. We'll have the details.
An exclusive report out of Syria, coming up after the break.
Hey guys, how are you today? Good. I'm here to talk about how with technology you can make amazing worlds. Come with me. My team and I groomed the Halo world to life.
Is that you?
That is me. I wasn't a math genius, and I knew nothing about coding. But you guys do. You guys have the power to change things.
I want your job.
I want you to have my job.
Welcome back. Like we mentioned before, those Santa Ana winds are really picking up. Right here in Orange County, we're currently seeing 80 degrees and windy. And you may notice the smell of smoke is in the air as those winds blow through multiple brush fires in Southern California. A dust advisory has also now been issued for Orange, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties. The winds have reached over 60 miles an hour in some areas and are expected to continue until tonight. Moving into the rest of Orange County, we can see similar temperatures. We have 86 across Westminster, Newport, Irvine, and Mission Viejo. Orange is going to hit a high of 89 today, nice and hot. A little bit cooler down in Laguna Beach with 82 degrees, and even cooler in San Clemente at 79 degrees. Could be a good beach weekend for Orange County. As for the rest of Southern California, moving up north, we see 79 degrees in Santa Barbara. Again, high 80s across Los Angeles and Anaheim. Just north of LA is where that Saddle Ridge fire is still burning. Over on Catalina Island, we're seeing 81 degrees. Bit cooler across the way in Big Bear at 62. And Palm Springs, similar temperatures right here in Orange, 87 degrees. A little bit cooler down south in San Diego at 79. For our 5-day forecast, like I said, we're going to hit that high of 89 degrees here in Orange, a low of 54. We do have that wind advisory and that dust advisory, so keep that in mind. Moving into the weekend, it'll stay pretty sunny. We'll move down to 82 degrees on Saturday, cool off a bit by Sunday at 78 degrees. And then we head into the week, 77 on Monday, still those low mid-50s, mid to high 50s for our lows. And then by Tuesday, we're going to bring it back up to 82 degrees for a high. That's your forecast. I'm Natalie Rawson. Back to you, Jules.
This week is Nobel Prize Week. The prestigious international awards are presented once a year in Oslo, Sweden, and the winners have been announced all week. Starting on Monday, the Nobel Peace Prize was announced last night, awarded to Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. Ahmed received the prize for his efforts to end the 20-year border war between Ethiopia and neighboring Eritrea. The long-closed border reopened on September 11th of this year, reuniting families from both sides.
German officials are working to reassure an unsettled Jewish community after a gunman opened fire outside of a synagogue on Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year in Judaism. The gunman live-streamed the shooting on Amazon's Twitch service with a camera attached to his head. After the shooter tried and failed to force his way into the synagogue, he shot and killed 2 bystanders outside. The video was quickly taken down as soon as Amazon was notified. We're in the 3rd week of the impeachment inquiry, and there are dramatic developments coming out of Washington.
We're joined by political producer Grace Papish. Grace?
Thanks, Jules. The former Ukraine ambassador Maria Yovanovitch testified this morning, telling congressional investigators that the president led a concerted campaign against her. The White House is on the offensive, declaring that they will not cooperate with any subpoenas until the House votes to open an official investigation.
Failure to produce this witness, the failure to produce these documents, we consider yet additional strong evidence of obstruction of the constitutional functions of Congress, a co-equal branch of government.
Earlier this week, the State Department blocked Gordon Sondland, United States ambassador to the EU, from attending his congressional hearing on Tuesday. Ambassador Sondland is considered a key witness on this case. July text messages showed that he opened the door for the president to pressure Ukraine by connecting with officials before Trump's call. He intends to testify next week under the subpoena. President Trump defended the State Department's decision to block the hearing in this tweet. I would love to send Ambassador Sondland, a really good man and great American, to testify, but unfortunately he would be testifying before a totally compromised kangaroo court, where Republicans' rights have been taken away and true facts are not allowed out for the public. The president may be losing support from his Republican allies as well after abruptly pulling troops out of northeastern Syria. This move allowed Turkish forces to take the area from the Kurds, a U.S.-backed ethnic minority. CNN's Clarissa Ward is the only American reporter in northeastern Syria. We have her report.
The people who we saw who were fleeing that town, much like people who we saw yesterday fleeing the town of Ras Al Ain, saying essentially they don't know where they are going. They don't know where is safe anymore in northern Syria.
A developing story coming out of Washington. 2 Ukrainian businessmen with ties to Trump's lawyer Rudy Giuliani were arrested in Dulles Airport. One of the men was scheduled to speak to the House committee regarding illegal funding. The funding was apparently used to oust former Ukrainian ambassador Yovanovitch, who wasn't friendly to Trump's cause. If these men are indicted, they will be part of an ongoing criminal proceeding, which will inhibit the president's ability to stonewall witnesses. A current poll from the Washington Post and George Mason University shows that 58% of Americans support the impeachment inquiry, rising from last week. And one final blow to the president this morning. A D.C. Circuit Court has struck down President Trump's appeal to shield his tax returns from Congress. That's all for today. I'm Grace Papish. Stay informed and stay curious. Back to you.
Former President George W. Bush was a guest this Wednesday for the 20th anniversary celebration of the Ardrose School of Business and Economics. Brandon Lance Garnsey has the story.
The event's invitations were open to the public, as long as you purchased a ticket, costing attendees a minimum of $5,000, with the exception of a few personalized student passes, the majority of proceeds going towards the school and student scholarships. Most facilities surrounding Beckman Hall were closed by 5 p.m. FBI and Secret Service agents were redirecting foot traffic to accommodate the ex-president's arrival, but students still found a way to express their views on Bush's visit on campus.
No more criminals on our campus! No more criminals on our campus!
The way it's been promoted is a little less about Bush, which is weird, because to us the only thing that we know about it is that they're giving former President George Bush the Global Citizenship Award, which doesn't, to me, at least in my opinion, doesn't align with his record as president.
Global citizens don't kill civilians! Global citizens don't kill civilians!
He has engaged in war under grossly false pretexts, had a massive propaganda campaign to back that up. He's spied on U.S. citizens, and he also tortured people.
Spies on us! Eyes on you!
We have freedom of speech and freedom of expression, and students are here to voice their opinions no matter what they are.
Still, others were pleased to have the former president on campus.
Love the fact that Chapman is down to bring guests to campus like this that are somewhat controversial, and we can all talk about it, and it sparks some conversation. I think it's exciting.
Chapman restricted press access to the event, but we did get a chance to speak with Dean of Students Jerry Price on why they brought Bush to campus.
Well, as an educator, anytime you can get such a historical figure as a former president of the United States, it's a great opportunity. So yes, politics aside, I think it's great that we have a former president on campus.
It's up to students whether or not they can set politics aside. For Chapman News, I'm Brandon Lance Garnsey.
Bush was only heard by those able to attend, leaving the rest of campus in the dark.
President Bush wasn't just on campus. He was also at a football game with Ellen. Next up on Entertainment, we'll tell you about the controversy.
Woo!
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Welcome back to the reality of entertainment. I'm your host, Brandon Lance Garnsey. Happy Friday and happy Harry Styles Day. Fans and me have been waiting since May of 2017 for new music from Harry Styles. And last night, the artist surprised everyone by dropping his single, Lights Up. And it has a music video. The visuals are steamy, and the song is definitely a pop rock anthem. The video already has almost 5 million views on YouTube since its release. The former One Direction star heads into the era of his second album, dropping billboards all around the world that read, "Do you know who you are?" But Harry isn't the only thing trending right now. Not only was former President George W. Bush right here on Chapman's campus, but he was also at a Cowboys game with Ellen DeGeneres this weekend, and people have mixed feelings.
But just because I don't agree with someone on everything doesn't mean that I'm not going to be friends with them. When I say be kind to one another, I don't mean only the people that think the same way that you do. I mean be kind to everyone.
Celebrities like Mark Ruffalo disagree with Ellen, tweeting how Bush should be brought to justice for his war crimes before we even begin to address kindness. However, others are expressing their admiration for Ellen's kindness, along with Whoopi Goldberg, who defended the daytime host on The View. And you know what? I agree. Meanwhile, nobody's mad over this announcement made on The Ellen Show this week.
I am so excited about this. I will be joining as one of the new coaches and boys.
Nick Jonas will be joining Kelly Clarkson, John Legend, and Blake Shelton as a coach for season 18 of The Voice, replacing Adam Levine, who left the show. Rihanna revealed some new details about 2 upcoming albums in an interview with Vogue this week, and also stated how she turned down performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. The singer sides with Colin Kaepernick and says, quote, "There's things within that organization that I do not agree with at all, and I was not about to go off and be of service to them in any way." And that she couldn't dare do that. She couldn't be a sellout. Don't worry, Rihanna. I'm sure you'll sell out of inventory of your upcoming autobiography. Releasing on October 24th, the book contains over 1,000 photos of Riri. YouTuber Trisha Paytas is known for her talent with sparking controversy, and she did just that this week. Paytas uploads a video to her channel where she came out as a gay transgender man, and a lot of people in the LGBTQ+ community think it's a step back from recent progress.
So, in my head, I feel like I'm a transgender female to male, but also like a drag queen. That's kind of how I've like rationalized it in my head. I just want it to be a more normalized thing that you can be any gender you choose on any given day.
Some influencers have expressed support and others concern for the YouTuber. Many fans are offended by Paytas using a side-by-side photo of herself dressed up as Troy Bolton from a previous video. Trisha says she doesn't apologize for coming out, but for how she explained it. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street and where to find tissues along the way? Because the children's show is now tackling the topic of addiction with their newest Muppet, Carly. We learn in a new episode the furry green character's mother suffers from an opioid addiction and has to go to meetings to help her get better.
Carly's mommy has a disease called addiction. Addiction makes people feel like they need a grown-up drink called alcohol or another kind of drug to feel okay.
But why doesn't she just stop?
Oh, it's not something you can just stop doing, not without help from the right grown-ups.
Okay, who else got the chills? Sesame Street has also tackled topics such as homelessness, adoption, and autism. Believe it or not, I'm actually going to go home and binge Sesame Street. Thanks for catching up with the reality and entertainment. I'm Brandon Lance Garnsey. Back to you guys at the desk.
This week, we've been learning about the long-awaited book by investigative reporter Ronan Farrow, among other things. Farrow takes on NBC News for dropping their investigation of Harvey Weinstein's alleged illegal sex exploits. Farrow also takes on Matt Lauer, claiming that former Today Show anchor raped a woman at the Olympics in Sochi. Lauer has been mostly silent since his firing by NBC, but now he's fighting back. Farrow charges that Lauer raped a fellow NBC News colleague while both were covering the Olympics in Japan. Lauer, in a lengthy 1,400-word statement, claims that the allegations defy common sense and that the woman in question was, and I quote, a willing partner with whom he had a subsequent affair.
Chapman's football team is off to a 3-0 start. I'll have highlights from last week's game coming up after the break.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Hello everyone, I'm Jared Brosnan and welcome to the Best Campus Sports Show. Earlier this week, Houston Rockets general manager Daryl Morey tweeted his support of the protests in Hong Kong, and that angered many Chinese supporters of the NBA. Commissioner Adam Silver did not apologize for Morey's freedom of speech, but he knows it could have a negative impact on the NBA's future in China.
We are not apologizing for Daryl exercising his freedom of expression. I regret, again, having communicated directly with many friends in China that so many people are upset, including millions and millions of our fans.
And those fans in China did not get a scheduled event after organizers canceled the Nets and the Lakers wanting to talk to civilians, but they did their preseason game. Multiple Chinese companies have pulled their sponsorships with the NBA, including Anti-Athletic brand, who announced they will not be continuing their shoe sponsorships with NBA athletes such as Klay Thompson. With National League Divisional Series tied at 2 games apiece, the Dodgers hosted the Washington Nationals for a winner-take-all trip to the League Championship Series against the Cardinals. Let's get things started off in the first as Max Muncy has a 2-run shot after Jock Peterson doubled his 3rd home run of the National League Divisional Series. Just an inning later, Kike Hernandez will jump on a Steven Strasburg fastball and send a towering shot into the left field pavilion, making it a 3-0 Dodgers lead already in the bottom of the 2nd. Walker Buehler was dominant as he was in the series opener, giving up only 1 run in 6 innings. Juan Soto brought home Anthony Rendon for a 1-run single. More on those guys in a moment. Clayton Kershaw surprisingly came on in relief and serves up back-to-back shots. Look at this, guys, on back-to-back pitches where Anthony Rendon and Juan Soto tie the ball game up. Juan Soto right here, very next pitch. Clayton Kershaw sends one right down the middle for Juan, the hero of the game. And then Angel and former Dodger Howie Kendrick sends a Joe Kelly fastball to straightaway center for a grand slam. That's all she wrote on another disappointing Dodgers season where Dave Roberts and Clayton Kershaw let the team down in a winner-go-home game. Simone Biles has become the most decorated female gymnast of all time after winning the gold in an all-around at the World Championships this week in Germany. She won by 2.1 points, which is the largest margin of victory under the current scoring system. This is her 5th all-around title, and she's considered the favorite to win gold at the Tokyo Olympics next summer.
Chapman Volleyball has been on an absolute hot streak right now. Let's see if Jesse Lumsden can keep the athlete streak going here on Athlete of the Week. I set up a tic-tac-toe grid on the volleyball court, and we're gonna bump, set, spike, and serve the ball over playing tic-tac-toe. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go. So are you expecting to be such a big contributor to this team only in your sophomore season?
Definitely coming into it, I wasn't expecting to play as much, but it's been exciting the last 2 years being able to contribute, and I don't think I could do it without the team.
You guys are currently undefeated in SCIAC play. What's your expectation for the rest of the season?
For the rest of the season, I'm hoping that we can go out there and hopefully repeat what we did in the first half of conference. But our goal is just to go out there and have fun and be confident in ourselves, and hopefully by doing that we can go out there and do the same thing over again.
Serving is my expectation.
Well, the athlete's streak of winning stays alive. Let's hope that volleyball stays alive as well. For Brad Benson and Jesse Lumsden, this has been another edition of Athlete of the Week.
Chapman's football team is currently undefeated after winning their homecoming football game against Whittier. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. In the first quarter, Marcos Reyes scored quickly after a blocked punt for the Panthers touchdown. Instead of kicking the PAT, Coach Bob Owen says they'll go for two. Interesting formation here as defensive lineman number 91 Ricky Medeiros comes down with it. Chapman up 8-0 later on in the first quarter. Chapman's defense shows just how good they are as Dylan Keefe comes down with the interception. That's going to set up Marcos Reyes right here for his second touchdown of the night, putting the Panthers up 15-0 with a minute left to go in the first quarter. Whittier's offense stalled and they go with a quick kick, and they're actually going to recover this Leon Lett style. You can't score on a muff putt, but right after this play, it set up the quarterback for Whittier to sneak it into the end zone to give them their only touchdown of the night. Right there, 5 minutes into the second quarter, it is 15-6. Marcos Reyes is back at it again with the hat trick. Here are his thoughts after the best game of his young career.
Mentality, obviously win the game, put on a show for all the alumni, all the fans. It was packed, great crowd. So just we knew we were a better team coming into this, so we tried not to overthink ourselves, just play our game. Every team's better than us until we beat them, and we got the jump down here tonight.
The team is back at it again tomorrow against number 17 Redlands. Game coverage will be provided by the Chapman Sports Broadcasting Network. That's the latest in sports. Back to you ladies at the desk.
With Orange County's homelessness population constantly on the rise, city officials are looking for more creative solutions to draw attention to the issue.
A new collaboration with local artists hopes to raise awareness through mural installations. Safi Sankara has the story.
Homelessness in Orange County has always been an ongoing problem, but two local artists are trying to solve the issue one mural at a time. Faces of Santa Ana is a non-profit organization that paints portraits and murals of homeless people to raise money to help the homeless population of Orange County. They recently teamed up with United Way's initiative to end homelessness and worked to create a mural on the side of a historic Costa Mesa church to spread awareness and bring in help across Orange County.
Brian and I went to the location where the mural was going to be, and we had in mind United Way to End Homelessness wanted a mural that answers the question, what solves homelessness? As we were there, we were looking at this building, and we seen the shape of it, and me and Brian were like, man, this looks like a home. You know, like the shape looks like a little house. Even the roof on it looked like a little house. So we were like, that's the answer anyways, is what solves homelessness is a home. So we turned this plain building into a three-dimensional looking home.
The mural was unveiled to the public in late August and has drawn a lot of attention to the issue.
But a lot of people are stopped and taking pictures. Even our people experiencing homelessness in the neighborhood have stopped to take pictures. So that's been really interesting. It's to just inspire people to ask that question and to learn more and to not fall into the assumptions that a lot of people have about what puts people in a homeless crisis.
This is just one of the 30 upcoming installations throughout the county aimed at starting a conversation about homelessness.
I can't wait to see the next one. I can't wait to go to the next city and just walk around on the streets and to just be inspired by the people on the streets and to hear their stories, because a lot of the times Brian and I will go and spend days with them and hear their stories, and a lot of their stories are what ends up on our paintings.
Reporting for Chapman News, I'm Satvi Sunkara.
The United Way initiative hopes to install a mural in every city in Orange County. The artists say that their next mural will be in Santa Ana.
Don't miss an episode of Chapman News. Follow our YouTube channel at chapmannews.tv and social media accounts for weekly updates at Chapman News. I'm Jules Rector.
And I'm Olivia Young. Have a great weekend.